XoreTech.
Today we're going to be focusing on strings. In this tutorial, I am going to show you a bunch of cool things you can do with strings in Python. So let's start by declaring our variable. I name our variable call_tech. Don't forget your underscore. It's very important that you make your code or your variable readable. So we're gonna assign our variable with a string, and then inside our string we're gonna write Python for beginners. Let me just explain to you guys what I just did. So we named our variable, we assigned our variable this string. This string over here is technically a object. You might ask me, X, what is an object? Well, an object in Python is like an object in the real world. X, what do you mean by saying that? Well, take a TV remote for example. A TV remote has buttons on it, right? All these buttons have different functions. All these buttons have different capabilities. These buttons are able to turn on your TV. These buttons are able to change the channel on your TV. Now, in this program, this XoreTech variable is storing a string object. This string object also has a bunch of capabilities. Let me show you. If I type in call_tech and I press dot, we are displayed here with a bunch of capabilities available for this string object. These functions, these ones, are just like your print function, parenthesis, and your input function, parenthesis. If you check out my videos, there's a video where I explain what is a print function and an input function. A print function prints out a message to the user. An input function receives a value from the user. The difference between these functions and these functions is that these functions are general purpose functions, and then these functions, these ones, are specific to strings. These functions are more accurate, and we refer to these functions as methods. So when a function is part of an object, we refer to that object as a method. Let me repeat. When a function is part of an object, we refer to that function as a method. Let's look at a few examples. Here we have a method called upper. This function or method is used to convert a string to uppercases. If we print out XoreTech, and then we close our parentheses, we are going to be displayed with a string all in upper cases. As you can see, our string has been converted to upper cases. Pretty cool, ne? This method is very useful. Now that you understand how to use the upper method, I need to stress one thing. This upper method does not change our original string. This upper method only creates a copy, or it creates a new string. Let me show you that we still have our original string. Print XoreTech. You see, we still have our original string. I did this so that you can see that this upper method does not affect our original string. Understand? We also have a similar method called the lower. The lower method does the opposite of upper. It changes or converts our string to lower cases. As you can see, it also did not change. It did not change our original string. I need to stress this because when you are doing a more advanced topic, this is going to come in handy, and you have to remember that we still have our original string stored in XoreTech. We did not change it. We did not affect it. We did not do anything to it. The only thing that we did is create a new string, and then we implemented our method onto that new string. Makes sense? So hopefully that makes sense, but if it does not make sense, as I told you, practice makes progress. So you'll need to practice so that it can make sense. Now, moving on, we have a method called find. We use this method to see if our string contains a character or a sequence of characters. For example, we can pass here the character y. Let me just remove this code here. So now we're trying to find y. We're trying to find y in this string or in this object. Using find, we are going to be returned an index. We are going to be returned an index when we run this code. Let me show you. You see, we are returned with index. Index is the position where we find y. Understand? Y1. Y1. Okay, so in Python, how index works, the first character is stored in index 0, that will be p, and then the second index is stored at index 1, the third 2, 4, 3, the fifth 4, and so on. Remember? So that's why here we get printed 1, because y is at index 1 based on this. Remember? Okay, let me just erase this. So we're trying to find y in Python. As I said before, Python is case sensitive. So if we pass an uppercase y here, if you try to pass an uppercase here, this method is going to return a -1 because we do not have an uppercase y. You don't believe me? Okay, let me it returns a -1. That's because we do not have an uppercase y there. Yes, we do have a y there, but because Python is case sensitive, it does not recognize this y, because this y is uppercase. This y is completely different from this y. Don't forget, in programming we work with ones, 0 and ones. We work with binary. So this binary, the binary of y and the binary of lowercase y are two different things. So that's why we should always make sure that our uppercases and lowercases are correct. So yeah, moving on. We can also pass a sequence of characters. For example, we can also pass the 4. Let's say we're trying to look for 4. It's gonna return the index 7. It returns the index 7. So this is how you use the find method to return. It will return you the index whereby we find the specific character or sequence of characters. Now there are times where we want to replace something in a string with something else. Now to do this, we use the method called replace. Use the method called replace. So we're gonna replace the old 4 with the actual number 4. The actual number 4. So we are replacing the old 4 with this new 4. You get it? Hope you get it. I'm trying to find out for Nintendo on the wrong. Didn't end my parentheses. You know what? Small mistakes can crash your whole code, so you should always make sure that your code is clean and your code is readable for things like this. Cool. Let's just run the code again. Okay, as you can see, we replaced this 4 with the actual number 4, and as you can see here, Python 4 beginners. Obviously, when you look for a character or a sequence of characters that don't exist in our program, nothing is going to happen. For example, let's try to replace the character X with the new 4. We don't have X in our string, by the way, so we're gonna run, see nothing happen, because nothing can happen because we do not have this character. We do not have the character, and just like our upper sorry, let me just do it. Just like our upper the 4, the replace method does not change our original string. It also just creates a new string. Now I'm gonna show you here, because now on the upper, let's not forget our parentheses again, new line, and then we're gonna print out our original string, core_tag. I'm gonna print out our original string. You see here we have the changed new string, and then we still have our original string still intact, not affected. Now why is this? Why did the program not change this string? Well, this is because in Python and other programming languages, strings are immutable. Strings are immutable. Now what does that mean? This means we cannot change them once we have created them. whenever we want to change a string, we end up with a new string object in a memory. So you should never worry with changing your program. Like, how can I put this? Your original string will forever be stored here. The original string will forever be stored there. So you should always remember that. And whatever method you use, it does not change or affect your original string. The only thing that it does, it just creates a new string. I am stressing this because as we go on attacking more advanced topics, this information is going to come in handy. The fact that we store the original string in a memory, and then we replace, we find, we change, or we modify within a new string. Hopefully that makes sense. But if I don't make sense, just keep on just rewind, and then listen to me, listen to what I told you before. Let's just delete here so that everything is clean. Now one last thing I want to cover in this tutorial. There are times you want to see if your string contains a character or a sequence of characters. One way to do this is by using the find method we talked about. Remember the find method that we talked about that returns the index. We say our string contains Python. Now, when we run this program, so we're gonna use the find. As I told you, I like my programs clean, so we're gonna use the find method to find Python. It's gonna return 0. So we're gonna tell our console, go find Python in my string, and then we can also erase here. So we're gonna tell our console, go find Python, and then it's gonna return us a 0 here, because Python is at index 0, this is at index 1, and then this is at index 2. This is the index of the first occurrence of the word Python in our program. Now in Python, we can also use the in operator. So we have an operator called in. So we're gonna try to find. We are trying to find Python in our string. So we're gonna say string Python in our variable bracket. So it's going to return us a Boolean value. So we are asking it. This in operator is like a question. It's like we are asking, is Python in our variable? It's going to return a true or false answer, a Boolean answer. It returns true. Let's say you didn't want to receive the index, and then now you're trying to get a yes or no answer. This in operator is very useful. It's very useful. So with this expression, we are checking to see if we have Python in the variable XoreTech. True, we do have Python in this program. The reason why I fell in love with Python is because it is very readable. It is just like plain English. That's why it is very easy to understand. So there is so much more I can teach you guys, but just that time has, so happy coding.